own box at the Atlanta Braves. Not that I care much about baseball, but what he does is he has these season tickets, his own box for the Atlanta Braves, and he's had them for like 15 years. And what he does, he can put about 40 people in his box. Buffet food, wine and dine, alcohol. He pays the tab. He's a big CEO at a bank, okay? What he does, he likes to invite some of his big wigs. He flies them in. He actually has a jet. He has a jet. He's flown Nick Saban around too. He brings Nick Saban into the bank by his own airplane, so he gets free Nick Saban time. Not free, but you know what I mean. But what he does during the Atlanta Brave games, he likes to bring in all his CEOs and all his big wigs and whatnot. And he takes his season passes and he hands them to someone in the box. And he usually hands them to like two people just in case one's inebriated and can't remember. He says, hey, I'm going to hand you my passes. I'm going to run out to my car and grab my hat. And they look at him. His name's Paul. They say, Paul, you're going to need these passes. Hey, you're going to need these passes to get back in. Security, the gate, even up the special elevator. You can't get up the special elevator unless you have these passes. He says, I'm going to give you these. And I don't want these passes to allow me back into my box seats. And they say, why are you doing that? He says, because these passes we've earned in life can't be the passes we ride on in life. Because he's hit a pinnacle in his life, but the reason he's hit that pinnacle is because he's been creative enough to hit that pinnacle. He's been disciplined enough to hit that pinnacle, and he's created the relationships to hit that pinnacle as well. And relationships go a really long way. Just like I had a renter move into one of my houses, and I think some of you guys moved him in, and I told him, listen, I don't want to be transactional with my associates or the people in my circle. I want to be relational with the people in my circle as well. So just like Paul, he doesn't want passes to get him through life. He doesn't want passes to get him up the special elevator. We have passes, whether it's our last name or the father we had, or maybe the cards we were dealt, or vice versa. But sometimes we don't have these passes, and we got to create these passes ourselves, right? Because you've got to be like sick and tired of being sick and tired to create your own passes, to create your own passport. Because we can either live in a prison, or we can have the altitude to have a passport. I say that because I want to make sure that we're growing you guys, we're grooming you guys. We're going to do an eye test, okay? Has anyone ever had an eye test?
I gotta go get one in a couple weeks.
Well, cool. I'm going to give you one right now, all right? An eye test, all right? So, everybody close your eyes. Close your eyes. We're going to do an eye test, all right? Make sure you're sitting down. No one falling down. Marcos, don't trip and fall. This is your eye test, okay? D'Angelo, close your eyes. Now, on your eye test, I want you to take your age, whatever age you're at. I want you to take your age and add 10 years onto it, okay? Add 10 years to your eye test, all right? 10 years to your age. Now, in your eye test we're about to perform, I want you to imagine you're 10 years older. So you know the math. Hopefully you know how old you are, and you know how old you'll be in 10 years from now. So take your age, add 10 years to it. Now, it's Thanksgiving, okay? We're doing our eye test on Thanksgiving. You get in the car with your family on Thanksgiving morning. You get in the car. Everybody buckles up, right? Of course, because everyone is strategic and disciplined enough to buckle up. So you and your family get in your vehicle. You're 10 years older. You get in the vehicle. You pull out of the driveway. You pull out your parking spot. You head down the street for Thanksgiving lunch about 9 a.m. right now. And there's some red lights and some green lights and some stop signs, and there's some country roads, there's some city roads. You're headed to your family on Thanksgiving you got to be there at 10 and you leave the house at 9. So you got a distance. How far are they from you? You're headed to your mom's house. All right, you're 10 years older, your family's in the car, everyone's buckled up, you leave at 9 o'clock. And of course you leave on time, because family always leaves on time. They're never late, they're never grabbing their hairbrush or didn't forget their iPad. You got to be at your family's at 10 a.m. You pull up at 10 a.m., but you really don't pull up at 10 a.m. You pull up at 10:15, right? Because it's such a long drive. You had to go down some dirt roads, some highway roads, some gravel roads. It was a distance to your family's house. So you get there at 10 a.m. You and your family hop out of the car. You go to the front door. You knock on the front door. You open the door because no one comes and answers the door. You see a bunch of cars in a parking lot. in the driveway at your family's house. It's 10:15 a.m. There's a bunch of cars there. You're running late. You walk in because you just opened the door, and everyone greets you. And they say, open your eyes. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. So, we all just got the same story, right? We all just did the same eye test. What was your family like?
Happy.
Happy? Okay, cool. Who was in the car with you?
Me, my kids, and my old lady, I guess, if I have one.
Okay, 10 years from now, right? Right. Who was in your car?
He laughed. He said, "What car?"
You and your kids? How many kids?
2.
2 kids? Both boys, both girls?
Correct.
2 girls?
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Were you by yourself?
Yeah.
Did they buckle up? Just you and your kids?
Yeah.
No significant other, no girlfriend? Y'all know where he's at, right? What was your family like when you walked in the door at 10:15? Say again?
I was in the minivan with 8 kids.
Minivan with 8 kids. So he went in depth, right? What kind of car were you driving? You don't know? What kind of car were you driving?
A school bus.
Marcos, where were you 10 years from now? What did your family do when you walked in at 10:15?
Me and my sister were going to my grandma's.
You and your sisters are going to your grandma's, right? Right? So we all have a different vision, right? We all have different lenses, right? Because the same story doesn't fit everybody. The same timeline, your 10 years versus my 10 years versus your 10 years versus your family versus my car versus your seatbelt, they're all different lenses. We all have different lenses, and that's the gloriness that God gave us, that we all have different uniqueness. We're all different. Every single one of us. Is any of y'all like Robert? Huh? Any of y'all? Is anyone like Waddell?
Yeah, no.
Huh? Y'all got 2 hands. Waddell's got 1 hand, right? So we all have different lenses, and we have to understand these different lenses, and these stories that we tell us will drive our performance. The different stories we tell us will drive our performance, just like my buddy Paul that won't allow Cassis to get him through the elevator, just like your family versus maybe not your family. I probably said to some of you guys, or to one of you guys probably heard 10 years from now, me and my family got in the car and you were stumped. You weren't quite sure what your vision you even wanted 10 years from now. Did any of y'all, and raise your hand if you knew what your vision looked like 10 years from now. Raise your hand if you knew what your vision looked like. Wow, so some of you guys don't know what 10 years looks like. That's a scary thing, you know? Because if you don't know what 10 years look like, how are you going to plan for it? How are you going to sow for it? How are you going to farm for it? You gotta start using your lenses and open your lenses, because the stories we tell ourselves and the pasts we do and don't have can also be a prison. Some years from now, some of us think, shit, I don't know if I really want to be 10 years from now, because it may be a scary feeling. It could be very unknown for some of us. Like, shit, I don't want to go that far. You know? Guess what's coming up real soon? Christmas. What happens around every Christmas?
Spin broke.
Right? Now's the time to plan for it. My son, I require him to buy Christmas presents for the family. And we got a big family. We've got stepmoms, stepdads. We got grandmas. I require my son to buy Christmas presents.
Even bought presents for the nanny.
Even brought presents for the nanny. And guess what? Come 5-6 days before Christmas, he told me, Dad, I don't have it. I said, I've been prepping you since November 1st. What the fuck you mean you don't have it? November 1st, I gave you about 60 days to save at 13 years old at that time for your family. What the fuck? I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove your Christmas presents. You tell me how much you need for XXXXXX, and I'm going to take those out of your Christmas. And you're going to use your generosity, your presents, your passes to give to others.
Accountability.
And guess what? He only got like 2 presents, and everyone else, I always do 10. They could be some rinky-dinks, or they could be, I just do 10. That way it's an even number for my kids. And some of them are like $5, $13, you know what I mean? But I do 10 presents for my kids. He got 2. Everyone else got 10. You've got to reduce what comes into you in order for you to give to others. And that doesn't matter if it's Christmas or not. That could just be today. Because I could be on a move with Cam Harris today, and you know he hungry. He a big boy. He don't eat light. He don't eat no vegetarian. He don't eat no salads. But if Cam says, "Hey man, can I have some change in your car?" You better believe it. He's gonna take some change in your car. You gotta be careful. If you take your foot off the tiger's neck, you gotta be careful how much pressure you take off. If you take the whole foot off the neck, the tiger's gonna eat you.
Yeah, he coming at you.
And I'm not pointing just to Cam, I'm not calling you out or anything, but it's true. You put a foot on a tiger's neck like Mike Tyson, you got to control a man like Mike Tyson. If you're his coach, teaching him how to kick ass in a ring, you got to be careful what you create.
Because he might swing on you.
He may swing on you. Mike Tyson will eat your ear. He will knock you the fuck out. And he'll sound like an 8-year-old while he's doing it, but he will. But if you created a tiger and you take your foot off the neck, your ankle may be bit. Now, how many of us are tigers? I know you fuckers are tigers. Lions? Tigers a bear, oh my? Hill's a bear. Look at Big Bear. He's a bear. You ever seen a bear fight?
Yep.
Bear's always gonna win. When there's two bears, it's hard. It's real hard.
The cocaine bear win.
I say this because today we got a full day. And we got a lot of tigers going out there today. There's some things that you've got to be disciplined about. There's things that you got to take out of your own life. You got to remove some of your passports. Like, we give you guys tools and diagrams to make them so simplistic. When I say diagrams are so simplistic, I'm taking it back to kindergarten. When you were in kindergarten, you had a star that went into the star. You had a circle that went into a circle. You had an octagon that went into an octagon. You had a rectangle that went into a rectangle. That's kindergarten. Remember that? Some of us have kids. They see the toys, right? You put the toys where they fit. What is your diagram? It's your kindergarten diagram. And it's so simplistic. You don't have to think about it. The hammer section should look like a hammer section. The drill bits should look like a drill bit. The drill should look like a drill. It's a draw out of your kindergarten years. If you can't kindergarten your drill bits, and if you can't kindergarten your diagram, and if you can't do that, how are you going to make it in 12th grade?
I don't know.
You're not going to make it in 12th grade if you can't make it through kindergarten. I want you guys to use your passports in your head in the story that you're telling yourself to be 10 years from now. Corey, how old are you going to be 10 years from now? 36. How old your daughter going to be?
15.
See his smile? Y'all see how he changed? He ain't worried about himself.
She gonna be grown.
But when I bring up the daughter,
You gotta smile.
how's your two daughters going to be?
10 years from now.
They're not born yet, right?
One of them is
One of them? All right, how old is she?
9 months.
9 months? So 10 years from now, she's almost going to be 11. What is she going to want when she's 11? iPads will be old as shit, man. iPhones will be gone. There won't be no iPhones. It'll be the next trick out.
You phone.
You phone, right? They're going to be in your skin. Bloop, bloop, bloop. James Bond got you right here.
It's just gonna say
That's how it's going. I mean, we're talking on our watches. Am I right? Do we do that?
No, I'm talking mine.
You don't talk on yours?
'Cause I can't hear nothing.
You can't hear nothing. Diagrams. Listen, Jordan shouldn't be the only one taking a picture of the kindergarten bullshit. You guys are not in kindergarten, but it's so elementary and it's so Crayola. If you know where the red color goes and the green color goes and the black and the orange, that's a new color, We're making new shit up today, right? I want you guys to impress Jordan this morning with your diagrams, okay? You put the star where the star goes. You put the circle where the circle goes. You put the drill, the tape measure. You put your six ratchets where they go, right?
colorblind.
So who's my ATLs? Raise your hand today. Who's doing a diagram? You're doing a diagram?
He got mine.
You're doing what? He got it. Why he got it? And
No, I done it out there.
okay, thank you. I want us to get to the first grade. Get out of kindergarten. Let's take our pictures for Jordan. Let's surprise him. He's not even here. Let's start surprising him this week. Let's go to first grade with this, okay? Take your diagrams, take your tools, and be like, hey, I already uploaded it. Take a look at the upload folder, right? I got you, Jordan. Remember, we used to do that.
Yeah.
And then there was some unaccountability and there was some frustrations. And we had to get Jordan to police a few kindergartners, and that's not fair to Jordan. He's a grown man, and we're grown men, right? I mean, if a drill goes where the drill goes, it's real simple, right? It's
Yes,
if you
sir.
tell your kids to pick up their room and put away their books on the shelf because that's where books go, right?
Mhm.
And your PlayStation remote goes where the PlayStation remote goes, right?
Mhm.
And, you know, if we can have our kids put away their tools and their assets and their resources, I think we can do that too, right? We don't need to pay Jordan for that. He should be handing out stretch wrap. Is it hard to get stretch wrap from Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
He's doing diagrams.
Because he's doing your kindergarten, right? Let's go to first grade, all right? Can we do that today? Can we do that this week?
Yes,
I
sir.
barely got past kindergarten the first time, Joe.
We're gonna get you there, buddy. We're gonna get you there. All right, y'all load your trucks, load your trucks, load your trucks, load your trucks.